All right, welcome back to the channel. Jermel Charlo with the 11th round knockout to regain the WBC 154-pound title. And I told you so. I was in a chat. You know who was in the chat with at the time. I didn't cover it live because I wanted to watch the fight very, very closely. And I told you, you guys were giving Tony Harrison too much credit. Tony Harrison was on his way to getting knocked out, and boop, in the 11th round, there he goes. Let's talk about that and rub it in your face in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, feel free to hit the join button to all the members and the people that come by the live stream. Come by OG Boxing Talk on Sunday mornings, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time with myself, Blood Boxing, KQKC Boxing, Trap House, and my man Curtis Anderson, the boxing historian. Much love to everybody on the Patreon that has been supporting on the Patreon. I got a couple videos that I'm going to get done this weekend. I'm running a little behind on the Patreon content, but we're going to catch up, and we're going to catch up something vicious. Now, oh yeah, I love when I get a prediction right. Now, I had a unanimous decision. I predicted that the fight for Jermel Charlo and Tony Harrison, that Jermel Charlo was going to win in a decision, not a unanimous decision, excuse me, in a decision. All right, I can't guess whether something's going to be a unanimous decision usually or not. Right. One guy might get it a draw, whatever, but I thought it was going to be a decision, and it was on its way, shockingly enough to most people, to be in a decision for Jermel Charlo. But Jermel Charlo ended all of that when he short-circuited Tony Harrison by knocking him down 2 times, and then eventually doing an Oscar de la Hoya barrage of punches up against the ropes to get that stoppage. Now, let's talk about the fight. First, Tony Harrison was stupid, okay? I'm sorry, man. After Jermel Charlo came out, right, winging for the fences, missing punches, Tony Harrison was out, was jabbing him from the outside. Tony Harrison is a long fighter, quick jab, good straight right hand, very long arms, keeps his head protected, keeps his body protected very well, catching a lot of punches on the gloves, and a lot of in the body shots, catching him on the elbows, and he was doing a terrific job. Then I do believe in the second round it was the second round, he gets clipped, gets knocked down, and all of a sudden he turns into man, who walks people that tries to turn into Joe Frazier. Walking the guy down, not literally Joe Frazier, because Joe Frazier's defense wasn't quite as tight, not the same style, but he starts walking down Jermel Charlo. And I thought right there, this boy's going to get knocked out. This boy's going to get knocked out. That was the wrong fight for Tony Harrison to fight. Although I will say Tony Harrison was winning rounds for sure, in my opinion. Now, not an opinion of a couple refs, but in my opinion, I thought he was winning rounds in there. I think up until I stopped scoring it around the 7th round, and I had it like 4 rounds to 3 after the 7th. I added 4 rounds to 3 for Tony Harrison. I had given Charlo the 2nd. I had given Charlo the 4th, and I had given Charlo the 9th because I thought that they were close enough rounds. The people who I was talking to, shout out to y'all in the chat, who I was talking to were thinking that Tony Harrison was winning those rounds. The commentators from Fox were giving all the rounds to Tony Harrison, but I was thinking, man, Jermel Charles doing some pretty decent body work here. Some of them are getting caught on the elbows, right, or getting caught on the arms. But hey, man, I thought that there were close enough rounds between the two of them where I could give some of those rounds to Jermel Charlo. But at the same time, I could understand why people would give him for Tony Harrison. But look, man, Tony Harrison ain't the one that had Lions Only Promotions on the banner. And I don't know why y'all don't ever get that. He had Lions Only promoted right there, right on the banner. As he's getting hit, he's down on Lions Only Promotion. Jermel Charlo is, I always look at the politics associated with it. So I was like, But thank goodness for Chef Boyardee, we don't have to worry about any of that because Jermel Charlo caught that boy on that chin and put him down again in the 11th. Then he caught him down. He knocked him down again a second time in the 11th. Jumps up on the stanchions, acts like the guy is done without actually looking over there and seeing if they stopped him. Jack Reese, for some reason, was trying his damnedest to get Tony Harrison killed by continuing to let the dude fight. Jermel Charlo gets him up on the ropes, lets loose a barrage a la Oscar De La Hoya, where I don't know if you guys remember this about Oscar De La Hoya. You guys might be a little too young to remember the actual Oscar De La fights and how many times Oscar De La Hoya would get somebody hurt and then just start throwing a barrage of punches them up against the ropes. Not a lot of the stuff landing, but the referee can't tell really and jumps in there and stops the fight. That's what happened to Tony Harrison and Jermel Charlo. And then boom, there you go. We've got a new champion. Excellent fight by Jermel Charlo. What I thought was a stupid fight for Tony Harrison. Tony Harrison has to know he ain't got a chin. He's got to know that. He's got to know that. He has to know that this dude can hurt him. Stay on the outside box, stink up the place, get out with a win like he did the first time. This fight was almost switched. It was almost completely switched. The first fight, it was Tony Harrison jabbing on the outside, giving up, jabbing on the outside, straight right hand, back, moving away, staying on the back foot, being the slick fighter against Jermel Charlo. Jermel Charlo swinging for the fences and all that. This fight, Tony Harrison sits right in the pocket with him, throwing, really exchanging punches because Tony Harrison did have a very good guard for the majority of the fight, but taking it to Jermel Charlo and having Jermel Charlo be right there. His chin always within striking range, even though it might be behind the high guard, right? It was still right there, and it was like every time he got tapped on it, he went down, and he got tapped on it twice in the 11th round. Just not a smart fight from Tony Harrison, even though Tony Harrison was having success throughout the fight. And again, I'm saying it was stupid. It was not a smart plan because he has a what's the character that Jimmy Walker used to play? It's it's not Bootsy Farnsworth. Can't remember. Is it Bootsy Farnsworth? The boxer with the glass chin who winds up old school reference, man. I think it's Bootsy Farnsworth. He got that Bootsy Farnsworth chin and got put out of there. You got to know that you ain't got a chin, man. And that this dude, Jermel Charlo, is cracking. But, obviously he didn't. He winds up losing. Now, in the press conference afterwards, Jermel Charlo was funny. Because Jermel Charlo, I knew going in, I was like, man, if Jermel Charlo wins this fight, Jermel Charlo is going to diss the tar out of Tony Harrison. He always does it. I think that he's hilarious with that. He don't have no love. He's kind of like Terrence Crawford in that regard. Man, when they don't like a dude before the fight and they beat him up, they don't like him after the fight. So he was like, no, none of that good fight stuff. He was like, I'm a gentleman and all that. So, but I don't like the dude. I don't like the dude at all. Oh, man. Tony Harrison was like, hey, man, back to the drawing board. Yeah, Tony, you walked in there talking too smack. Got too... people in the chat, like my man Junior the Truth said, hey, man, he just lost focus. Man, he lost the chin. He lost punch tolerance. Man, this cat can't take a punch, and that is his Achilles chin. That's what it is. He got an Achilles chin, and Jermel Charlo found that chin, and it was it. Now, moving forward, we talking about what needs to happen next, which is J-Rock versus Jermel Charlo. And that's what I want to see next. The IBF, the WBA, and the WBC 154-pound title on the line. The two top guys at 154 pounds fighting one another. I think that would be an excellent fight. I telling you right now, I got Jermel Charlo. This far away from the fight, I am leaning towards Jermel Charlo. Jermel Charlo, even though somebody said that that J-Rock is a different type of fighter than Tony Harrison, I agree 100%. He's a different type of fighter than Tony Harrison. But that type of fighter that J-Rock is, that suits Jermel Charlo better than Tony Harrison does. Now, I'm not saying that Jermel Charlo doesn't suit J-Rock, but look, man, his brother already knocked him out. And that'll be a great storyline for that fight. I certainly hope we get to see it. Anyway, it was a terrific fight. Way better fight card than happened the night before. No chairs being thrown, no nonsense popping off. Just good old fight, a good competitive fight. I really, really enjoyed it. Shout out, unfortunately, this guy Balderramos, his name Balderramos, got knocked out. I think it was all knockouts on the main event of that card. About the Mexican dude that got knocked out. I think he was a ring star. And then there was Ife Agagbe, who knocked out his guy. And then there was Jermel Charlo, who knocked out Tony Harrison. All the way around, really good night of fights. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.